Every day, without noticing, you are carrying too much. Too many thoughts, too many worries, too many things you care about. You think about what people said, what might happen, what could go wrong. You care about opinions, outcomes, reactions you cannot control. And slowly, this becomes a weight. Not a physical weight, but a mental one. It follows you everywhere. Even when nothing is happening, your mind is still busy, still holding on. So right now, take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders relax and consider this simple truth. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everything deserves your energy. Today, you'll learn why the less you care about the unnecessary, the lighter your mind becomes, and the more peaceful your life feels. Have you ever felt tired, even when you didn't do much? Not physically tired, but mentally exhausted. This is very common today. Your mind is always active, thinking, reacting, worrying. From the moment you wake up, it begins. You check messages, you think about what others said, you plan the future, you replay the past. Even small things take your attention. A message that feels off, an opinion you don't agree with, something that might happen later. And without noticing, you start caring about all of it. Everything feels important. Everything feels like it needs your attention. But your mind has limits. It cannot carry everything at once. So, what happens? Mental overload, too many thoughts, too many concerns, too many things to process. And this creates exhaustion, not because life is too hard, but because your mind is holding too much. You are trying to think about everything, control everything, care about everything, and that is too much for anyone. The Buddha taught that the mind suffers when it is overloaded with attachment, when it holds on to too many things at once. And this leads to a simple but powerful realization. You are not tired because life is difficult. You are tired because you are caring too much about too many things. And once you begin to see this clearly, you can start to let go and feel lighter again. One of the biggest reasons your mind feels heavy is this belief. Everything is important. Every message feels urgent. Every comment feels personal. Every delay feels like a problem. So, the mind reacts to everything. It treats small things as if they are big. A late reply becomes overthinking. A small mistake becomes stress. Uncertainty becomes fear. But if you look closely, most of these things are not serious. They only feel serious because of how you respond to them. The mind gives importance too quickly. It doesn't pause. It doesn't ask, does this really matter? It just reacts. And when everything feels important, your energy is constantly being used. You become tense. You become tired. Because you are spending your attention everywhere. But here is the truth. Not everything needs your attention. Not everything deserves your energy. Some things are small. Some things will pass. Some things are simply not worth your time. The Buddha taught that wisdom begins with understanding what to hold and what to let go. If you treat everything as important, you lose clarity. But when you start to choose what truly matters, something changes. You feel lighter. You become calmer. You stop reacting to every small situation. Instead of saying, "This is a problem," you begin to ask, "Is this worth my energy?" And often, the answer is no. This simple shift changes how you experience life. You stop giving power to things that don't deserve it. And this leads to a powerful insight. Not everything that happens is important, but everything you give your attention to becomes important. So, choose carefully. Because your attention shapes your experience. At the heart of Buddhist teaching is a simple truth. Suffering comes from attachment, not from life itself, but from how tightly you hold on to things. You attach to outcomes, how this should go, What must happen? You attach to people. How they should treat you. What they should say. You attach to expectations. This must work. This should not fail. And when reality does not match your expectations, the mind reacts. Frustration, disappointment, stress. But the deeper cause is not the situation. It is the attachment. Imagine you are holding a heavy object. If you hold it loosely, you can carry it. But if you grip it tightly, with tension and fear, it becomes exhausting. The weight feels heavier, not because it changed, but because your grip did. This is how attachment works. The tighter you hold, the heavier it feels. The tighter you hold, the more it hurts. The tighter you hold, the harder it becomes to let go. Life itself is always changing. People change, situations change, outcomes change. But when you expect things to stay a certain way, you create resistance, and that resistance becomes suffering. The Buddha taught that peace does not come from controlling life. It comes from releasing attachment to it. This does not mean you stop caring. You can still love, still work, still try your best, but you don't cling. You don't depend on things being a certain way to feel okay. And when you begin to let go, something shifts. The same situations feel lighter. The same challenges feel easier, because you are no longer gripping them so tightly. And this leads to a simple but powerful insight. Letting go does not take anything away from you. It takes away the weight you were never meant to carry. A large part of your stress does not come from real problems. It comes from imagined ones. The mind has a habit of looking ahead. What if this goes wrong? What if something bad happens? What if I fail? These thoughts feel real, but most of the time, they are not. They are only possibilities. And yet, the body reacts as if they are happening now. This creates anxiety. You begin to worry about things that have not happened and may never happen. Think about how often this happens. You imagine a conversation. You expect a negative outcome. You prepare for a problem that never arrives. And by the time you realize it, you have already used your energy for nothing real. A simple way to understand this is through a metaphor. Your mind is like an overactive security guard. Its job is to protect you. So, it keeps looking for danger, even when everything is fine. It creates possible threats just to stay busy. And the problem is not that it does this. The problem is that you believe it. You follow every thought. You treat every worry as truth. But here is the key insight. You don't have to believe every thought. A thought is just a thought. It is not always reality. It is not always true. When you begin to see this, something changes. You start to notice thoughts instead of reacting to them. This is a worry. This is a fear. This is imagination. And you let it pass, without building on it, without turning it into stress. The Buddha taught that awareness frees the mind. And this leads to a simple realization. The mind will always create thoughts, but you don't have to follow all of them. And when you stop believing every thought, you stop creating problems that don't exist. When people hear careless, they often misunderstand it. They think it means becoming cold, uninterested, lazy. But that is not the meaning. Caring less does not mean you stop caring completely. It means you care wisely. You choose where your energy goes. You still act. You still love. You still work. You still show up in your life. But you stop holding on to everything so tightly. You stop attaching your peace to every outcome. For example, you can do your best at work without stressing over every result. You can care about someone without needing them to act a certain way. You can face challenges without turning them into constant worry. This is the difference. You are involved, but not overwhelmed. You are engaged, but not attached. The problem is not caring itself. The problem is over-caring, caring about things that don't need your attention, holding on to things that are not in your control. This is what creates stress. But when you care about the unnecessary, your mind becomes lighter. You have more energy for what truly matters, more clarity, more peace. The Buddha taught that balance is the path, not too much, not too little. And caring less is part of that balance. It is not about doing less. It is about holding less inside your mind, letting go of what is not needed, so you can fully give your attention to what is. And this leads to a simple but powerful insight. Caring less does not make you empty. It makes you free. Caring less is not something you think about. It is something you practice. And it begins with small moments. The first step is simple. Pause. When something happens, before you react, pause. Take one breath. Create a small space between the situation and your response. In that space, ask yourself, does this really matter? Not everything deserves your energy. Not every comment needs a reaction. Not every thought needs attention. Many things are small, but the mind makes them feel big. So instead of reacting immediately, you choose. You decide what to give your attention to and what to let go. The second practice is letting small things pass. A delayed message, a minor mistake, a brief moment of discomfort. You notice it and release it. No replaying, no overthinking, just letting it go. Another important shift is this. Don't absorb everything. Not every emotion belongs to you. Not every situation is yours to carry. When someone is upset, it doesn't mean you need to take it in. When something feels negative, it doesn't mean you must hold on to it. You can observe without absorbing. This is where real relief begins, because most mental stress comes from holding on to things unnecessarily. But when you stop feeding those thoughts, they lose their power. Your mind becomes quieter, lighter, more peaceful. You don't need to control everything. You don't need to solve everything. You only need to stop giving energy to what doesn't matter. And this leads to a simple but powerful insight. Peace does not come from having fewer thoughts. It comes from choosing which thoughts to keep. When you begin to let go, something changes, not outside, but inside. Your mind feels lighter. The constant pressure begins to fade. You are no longer carrying every thought, every worry, every small problem. And because of that, you feel more calm, clearer, more at ease. You may notice something simple but powerful. You make better decisions, not because you try harder, but because your mind is no longer crowded. When the mind is quiet, it sees more clearly. You are not reacting quickly. You are responding with awareness, and this reduces stress. Because you are no longer fighting everything, you are allowing things to be as they are. This creates a deeper emotional shift. You feel a sense of freedom, not from life, but from the weight you used to carry inside. And here is an important realization. Life does not suddenly become easier. Problems still exist. Challenges still come. But you experience them differently because you are lighter. You are not holding on to everything. You are not turning every moment into a struggle. And because of that, life feels easier. The Buddha taught that happiness is not something you gain. It is something that appears when you let go, when you release unnecessary thoughts, when you release attachment, when you stop holding on to what does not serve you. Peace begins to arise naturally, and this leads to a simple but powerful insight. Happiness does not come from adding more to your life. It comes from releasing what was weighing you down. Take a quiet moment to reflect. What if you tried this just for one day? For the next 24 hours, care a little less about what doesn't matter. Let small things pass. Don't react to everything. Don't hold on to every thought, and simply notice what changes. You may feel lighter, calmer, more at ease. Because peace does not come from controlling everything. It comes from letting go of what you don't need to carry. Remember this simple truth: the less you care unnecessarily, the freer you become. If this message resonated with you, leave a comment below. I choose peace today. And consider subscribing for more teachings on calm, clarity, and mindful living.